Just
I also play soccer.
your life.
So this is going to be our third Socratic discussion about the trial and participants in Harper. And our first topic is about Tom Robinson, who was a witness being accused wrongly. What is your guys' claims about what his point of view is in the trial? What as a witness?
So Tom claimed that it was Mayella who came on him when they were inside their house. Mayella called him into the house to fix the door, but the door was fine. And then she told him to grab something, and she went up and grabbed him, tried to escape, and he ran because he was scared, and now he's facing a consequence that he never wanted to face.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Do you have anything to add on?
No.
Does anyone else want to add on? Oliver? You look interested.
I agree with Joe. It makes a lot of sense. She did come on it.
So just moving on, do you guys have like specific evidence, quotes, or anything that could possibly support that claim?
Yeah, I used the quote from when Tom was explaining what happened. Atticus had asked him a question, and he replied with, so she hugged me around the waist. So that's what it showed me that she was the one that had come on to him, and he hadn't done anything wrong to blame for what he
I sorry.
I agree with that because he also said that she kissed him and then said that she had never kissed a young man before, and she might as well kiss a Negro because what Harper did not to do to him count. It shows that he had been like she did it to him.
Oh, I agree. I agree with you because she was the one that kissed him. He didn't do anything to her.
For my real world experiences or evidence, I just chose a person named Ed Johnson, who was wrongly accused of assaulting a woman, and he was convicted by an all-white jury and sentenced to death. And in the year 2000, in February, his conviction was overturned. And he was moving on to Mayella. I said about her point of view is that she knows that she is innocent, but is trying to lie accusing him of rape because she does not want to get embarrassed or be afraid, or because she's afraid of her father. And during the trial, she tries her best to lie, but in some instances, she gets questioned whether she is saying the truth. Like one quote I'd said on page 98, "No, I do not recollect. If he hit me, I mean, yes, I do. He hit me." So she contradicted of what she said.
I would agree with that. For my claim, I said that Mayella, it was Tom who came on her and attacked her from her blind side when she was looking away, and said that Tom raped and beat her severely. And she didn't want to tell what actually happened. She claimed that Tom was the one that raped her, not her father, and the one who came on her beat her.
I do.
I mostly agree with Joe when he said that, he was just trying to
and Max that she was just trying to not get beat by her dad again.
You guys have specific evidence from real world experiences?
No, Max, we don't.
Specific question. And since you guys
No, Max, I don't.
you don't have anything. Not or anyone of you have any evidence or anything before we move on? Okay.
No, I wasn't falsely accused of being raped.
Yeah, again, she did come on it. So,
Moving on to Robert Ewell, Mayalla's father. Does anyone have a claim of her point of view of the trial and everything?
So you
I put that. He's the one that beat on his daughter. He accused Tom for it.
Overall, he was mainly the one who called the police on Tom Robertson and Mayella. Does anybody have evidence or really other experiences that they can share?
I mean, I think he because Tom said that he yelled something, but that wasn't at Tom. So I think it's that yeah. And I think that he beat her because she was, going against Jim Crow laws at the time. So he didn't like that.
I agree. I said that Bob claimed he was coming home and he looked through the window and saw Tom on top of his daughter, and the furniture was messing around, and he wants to go after Tom. Tom ran from him. For my evidence, he said, I used Bob Gill's quote. He said, Mayella was racing in this whole racket, so I dropped the load and run as fast as I could. But I run into the fence. But when I got tangled, I run up to the window and I see Mr. Ewell's face. He stood up, pointing his finger at Tom Robinson. I seen that black man yonder run on my Mayella. So he claims that he was on his daughter, trying to hide the fact that he had beat his own daughter.
I agree with that because they kind of went against like all the rules back then, like the white woman she kissed a black man and stuff. And he was upset with her because he saw her kiss him and got very mad at her and Tom ran and stuff.
Does anyone want to share anything else before we move on to Heck Tate?
Everything.
Moving on to Heck Tate, the person who arrested Tom Robinson, police officer. Does anyone have a claim that they would want to share or evidence?
I don't know. He was just kind of there. He had to do it.
Yeah, he was just doing his job.
Yeah.
Did he actually do his job?
Not necessarily. Didn't.
Technically, yes, he did.
Sort of.
Part of this.
Didn't investigate. Well, yeah, he didn't actually completely investigate, asking the questions to people to get like the whole backstory of what had happened. He just took Bob Ewell's word for it. Mr. Ewell came up to his door and told him that his daughter had been raped. So he just went off of that and believed him and went and arrested Tom Robinson instead of trying to figure out who it was. Just solve whatever happened. And
I agree with you, Joe, because it like shows that like a white man's word overpowers a black man's word when it comes down to this.
Can I have your attention, please? If you ride the AC shuttle bus and normally eat third lunch, you are dismissed for lunch at this time. If you normally ride the AC shuttle bus and eat third lunch, you are dismissed for lunch at this time. Thank you.
I lost track of where we were at.
Tape going.
So mainly Heck Tate was just there. He never really investigated. He did his job, but not very well. He mainly just looked at Tom Robinson, just said that he raped him. He raped him just because he was skin color. That's my belief. Anyone else want to share anything? We move on to Atticus.
No.
Nothing to add. Okay.
I would answer that.
I already said you should do the job. He investigated.
Moving on to Atticus. My claim about Atticus is that he was mainly on Tom Robinson's side. He believed he was innocent. He tried to help him. He believes Robinson should have a trial. He believes in equality. He knows that Mayella is lying because due to some moments, he has a suspicion that his father might beat him for, or he believes Tom more because of his criminal line. And my evidence is that something about equality. This is, you'll see white men cheat black men every day of your life, but let me tell you something you don't forget. Whenever a white man does that to a black man, and no matter who he is, how rich he is, or how fine a family he comes from, the white man is trash. Page 100. And he also states, you never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view. Page 16.
My idea is very similar to that. I said that Atticus was doing his job well, and he was making sure that Tom got a fair trial because he was black. He didn't get any disadvantage in the trial. And Atticus had claimed that it was Bob Ewell that had beat his daughter because Atticus had a right on paper and he was left-handed. And Mayella had a black eye on her right side, and that's when Atticus started to figure out that it was Bob that had punched her.
To add on to that, he, even though this guy was black, he still did the same things he would for anyone else, and he proved a bunch of people wrong because the whole town was thinking there was just going to be a walk by, and everyone thought he was just going to just be there to be there, but then he actually did his job and supported Tom.
And also Tom had one of his, he didn't have one of his arms. And that, so it was like the left arm, so it's like, it wasn't there, so it was hard for him too, I guess, because he had left hand.
Gabe, what?
I basically said that stuff. He was trying to defend Tom Robinson as best as he could. You know, he couldn't, well, he tried his best and you know had a lot of good points.
He had him.
No, I just agree that he was crippled.
Anyone else? Margie, do you have any evidence? Claims? Claims?
But people kind of judge Atticus for helping Tom because he was black.
Well, just moving on. to Mr. Gilmer. We're, I don't have a lot about him, but if anyone else has like, a claim that they would like to share, you can.
Just Mr. Gilmore claimed that Tom was wrong for looking down on a white woman because during Tom's when Tom was talking about what had happened, he said that he felt sorry for Mayella, so that he was in there helping her whatever she needed help with. And Mr. Gilmer used that against Tom, saying that he was wrong for looking down on a white woman because Tom was black.
I think Tom is innocent.
Nice.
Mr. Foreman.
Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant Tom Robinson committed the offense of rape against Mayella? Well, yes, no. Does anyone want to share their opinion vote on that? Vote.
Wait, what's no? I guess guilty or yes.
Read the question.
I'd say I think no because he didn't.
Everyone in favor? No. Just raise up your hand. Alright. Is it?
All right. So you've come to a unanimous verdict that the state did not prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant, Tom Robinson, committed the offense of rape against Mayella Ewell. Okay. So, wait, sit down. Sit down. Okay. Outside circle. What did the jury do well this time? Well, they talked, yes. What was good about it? What did they do well?
They explained things. They explained it good.
Well,
With good information.
Justified their opinions using evidence. Yep, we did use more evidence than we've used in other discussions. Yes, which is so important because obviously we were coming to a conclusion based on facts and evidence. But any discussion that you have, any intelligent discussion, you should draw on evidence. Why do you believe what you believe? All right, good. What else did they do well? Outside circle, what did they do well?
Some of them used references, like Max used one of a similar case of an egg.
Yeah. So outside real world evidence, good.
They talked the whole time.
Yep, they did. This is the longest formal discussion that we've had. Good.
They did a good job of including others.
Yep, trying to include everyone. All right. So what we want to do, outside circle, very quickly and quietly switch places. You become jury number 2 with the same responsibilities.
Can I go to a restroom? If you're going to start.
Okay, jury number 2. You have the same responsibility to come up with your conclusion, the verdict on whether or not the state proved beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant, Tom Robinson, committed the offense of rape against Mayella Ewell. You may begin.
Okay, this is going to be our third Socratic discussion about To Kill a Mockingbird. We are doing jury deliberation. So we will be discussing whether we think Tom Robinson is guilty of raping Mayella
Ewell. I said that they think that Tom Robinson, just because he's black, he's the bad guy of the story, just because of his skin color, even if he's guilty or not guilty. Yeah, I kind of said what Case said. I said he was accused wrongly in court because he's a black man and Mayella is a white person, so they favored Mayella and just took her word for it.
Yeah, I agree.
I believe that he was accused wrongly, and even further, I think that they're trying to use him to give themselves more respect within their own community.
I agree with that because the respect part, the Ewells aren't a very respectable family to begin with. So if they kind of win a court case and give themselves that power above other families in the community, then they might earn a little bit more respect. And the other part, how he was wrongly accused in court, is kind of like this Scottsboro boys trial. That reference.
I agree with that. It's just like back then it was hard to win a trial against a white person if you were black. Just because of racism.
I agree with that. Tanisha, what are your thoughts?
I agree with it because of what you
We've all talked about how we believe that he's innocent. Would we like to share our evidence as to why we think that?
Just black people got segregated back then just because of the color of their skin.
So you're saying it's due to bias?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of bias going on in this trial because of just like the era they were in, like the Jim Crow era, and how it was kind of common for black people to be jailed without trial, especially if they were going up against a white person. And it was one of the quotes where the jury kind of was in shock because Tom Robinson said he felt sorry for Mayella, which was like not a good thing for him to say, just because it was a black person showing pity to a white woman.
The evidence that he didn't do it was actually strong enough that there shouldn't have been a chance for him to have been convicted. But once again, the bias showed through. He had that bum arm, so he couldn't have hurt her in the way that they described.
They just took Mayella's word for it.
Tom said that Mayella came on to him and they asked him why he ran and said he was scared to get in trouble because he knew he'd get in trouble with being a white woman.
And then they tried to turn his own words against him.
How do you guys feel Bob was acting in court when he was being tried? How do you guys feel?
He's being a douchebag.
Valid.
He was acting way too confident and not at all as though he was actually angry about what happened, which should have been more reason to be suspicious of him.
He seemed very hostile.
In the beginning, he was really calm and stuff until Atticus started asking questions. Then he got very sensitive.
He also kept looking to his lawyer, which should have, once again, been a very big red flag.
Also, to his lawyer, I quote, it was Mr. Ewell was Mr. Gilmer's witness and he had no business being rude to him of all people. It was just kind of like concerning why he was acting that way towards, out of all people, his own lawyer in the court, and how he was just agitated the whole time and he was sarcastic and disrespectful to everyone.
I agree because he was just trying to, maybe if he was good, maybe if Robert Ewell, maybe if he did hurt Mayella or Tom didn't do it, he was just trying to pin on a black person. And he knew that black people got segregated and that they always were in trial back then, so he didn't even care.
Wasn't any need to bring forth actual evidence because people would immediately go after him.
And I feel like that part, the no actual evidence, also falls upon Heck Tate, how he was the sheriff and the authority in this position, but he kind of did not investigate or look into the case as well as I feel like he should have. So I feel like in this situation, he, as the authority, should not have had a bias, but he definitely, from my opinion, had a bias towards Tom, because I feel like he, as a citizen of Macomb, had Macomb's usual disease of racism, and he should have looked more into the case, but he kind of just took Bob's word for it.
I agree with Susan. Facts.
Oh, back in that time, white people didn't listen to white people that often.
There's also the point. Oh, my bad. You go. Okay. There's also the point that they seemed more focused with getting Tom Robinson, even though there was a very small chance of him actually getting far enough away they wouldn't be able to get him. And they didn't bother to call a doctor for Mayella.
Yeah, that's a big red flag. And like during the trial, you could tell that she was kind of scared, and because she was crying multiple times. And,
Yeah.
She seemed more scared of her father than Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Mayella part, she stuttered a lot in court. There was one quote where she was being questioned by Atticus, and it was Mayella was silent. She seemed to be trying to get something good of herself. So she was trying to understand what she was saying before she slipped up and accidentally revealed something that she should have, which I feel like was aimed towards her dad, that she was scared of him more than Atticus or anyone else.
It seemed like all of the Ewells thought very carefully about what they said so that they wouldn't slip up, which when they were asked to do things such as say what happened, that shouldn't have been something they had to do unless they were making it up.
to add on to that, Mayella was acting really calm, but she was yelling when she was getting questions. But as Atticus started to dig deeper into the case, she started acting up more and started crying. So.
And then she tried to go from being a calm, collected person to immediately playing victim.
Some of the questions she just said that she remembered.
Yeah, I agree. She changed up her answers a lot while she was on.
Yeah, she
So how do you guys feel that Atticus and Mr. Gilmer played their part as two opposite lawyers for the case? Atticus, of course, defending Tom Robinson, and Mr. Gilmer defending the Ewells, specifically Mayella.
I feel as though Atticus was being, very factual and courteous, and he was trying to, clarify things or, keep people from lying. But Mr. Gilmer was actively trying to twist people's words against them.
I agree. I feel
Atticus was just trying to do his job correctly.
Yeah, I feel like Atticus was just trying to do the right thing, even if Tom was guilty or not. While Mr. Gilmer was just caring about Robert.
I agree with that. I feel that Atticus brought up solid evidence that Tom didn't beat Mayella with his arm really bad, and then Mr. Gilmore was kind of just trying to make stuff up.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I agree. What do you think, Dallas?
There's also some other time you guys forgot to mention that he only had one hand, and she said to him that she didn't remember what happened, and then brought up that he choked her with both his hands. He only had one.
Which once again made it impossible for him to have been the one to injure her that way.
And she also said he choked and beat her at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
That's one hand.
So
How would you like to say?
not good.
So if we're in agreement that Tom Robinson could not have physically been the one to rape and beat her, do we think there could have been another, like who was behind it then? For me, I believe Bob Ewell was the one that beat his own daughter and was trying to blackmail her in court.
Yeah, I agree with that because he, once again, stirring back to the part where she was getting prosecuted, he was acting all fine and he was being cocky until Atticus started asking like, how could this happen? How could this happen when Tom only had one hand? And then he asked if Bob did it, and she just went silent.
I think Bob was just trying to cover himself up from Atticus because he knew that he did it.
There's also the fact that from the injury report, they said that she was choked with the left hand and beaten with the right. And Robert Ewell was shown to be left-handed, and Tom said he didn't hit her. And there's also the fact that a white person and a black person having any form of romantic relationship would be considered horrible in that time. So it's most likely that Robert beat her and then was trying to save face for his family.
Since he got top at Tom,
I think he thought that Tom was actually raping her when instead Mayella was brought him on her, and then like all the bruises were brought up, and he was just trying to cover himself up.
Tom had said that Robert yelled at Mayella and cursed at her, so I think that he knew what was going on, but he blamed Mayella and not Tom.
Tanisha, what are your thoughts?
I don't have any. You guys pretty much covered it all.
So we're all in agreement that Tom Robinson couldn't have physically done the things that he was accused of. Robert Ewell fits the description of person who beat her the most, and the jury was obviously biased.
Yes. Because there's probably an all-white jury. So they had to group of white people.
Yeah.
It wasn't all white jury. It would have consisted of an all white jury, which would have been biased, especially in the town.
Known for
During this era,
racism,
likely.
famed for having stuff like plantations.
Also, Robert was shown to be abusive more towards the end of the book. He also tried to kill 2 other kids after he was drunk. So he could have been like at the time drunk and just did horrible things.
Yeah.
Robert was also known not only for, being horrible to his kids, but being a horrible father and constantly going against the law. So it wouldn't have been unreasonable to suspect him.
Yeah, it kind of makes him look like a bad person already. And then you can kind of assume that he beat Mayella on his previous actions.
So if discussion is wrapped up, we're going to do our verdict form. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt that defendant Tom Robinson committed the offense of rape against Mayella Ewell? If voting yes, raise your hand. And then if no, raise your hand.
All right. So a not guilty verdict. Okay, good job. All right, outside circle. What did jury number 2 do well? They did what? Okay, yep. Good way to bring in people to the discussion. Max?
They they brought more important details from other parts of the books, like the end, like was mentioned, about Bobby Will trying to murder children.
Yeah, some extended evidence that you brought in. Good. What other things did they do well?
Talk out loud. They talk loud.
Okay, yes, we could hear them. Good. What about line of reasoning? How did they reason out the evidence? Inside circle. How do you think you reasoned out the evidence? What was your line of reasoning like in the discussion?
He used a lot of evidence.
Okay.
They backed their evidence up with lots of details so that way it covers the whole thing instead of just a little piece.
Okay, so
And,
fully
like, jumping
explaining.
all over the place, but they like weren't all in line.
Okay, yeah. Fully,
In line. Kind of in order.
they connected evidence with their justification. Yeah. Very good.
Thank you.
Other positives? Okay, I have seen a lot of growth in all of your discussion skills, and I'm very proud of to see you pushing yourself in your discussions. That's really good. We're going to have at least one more by the end of the semester. So continue to work on those. I'm very proud of your growth, and I hope that you have a very good Thanksgiving. What I need, yes, I did. Very good. What I would like you to do now is to fill out your reflection form, the last 3 questions on your prep sheet, and then turn that in. Okay, good job.